Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In today's video, I want to talk to you about staying in the right stage of your transformation. Now, what the hell do I really mean by this? So, if you, first of all, let's give us a high level overview of this. If you consider any area of your life, whether it be your relationship, whether it be your health, whether it be your business, there is normally a vision that you have for yourself, whether that be if you're a guy and you want to get ripped, whether you're a woman and you just want that what do they call it? Flatbed stomach, ironboard stomach, something along those lines. Or you're in business and you want to go from where you are and you want to create a certain amount of growth, or you want to impact a certain amount of people, or you want to generate a certain level of income for your business, or in your relationship, you want to take it from A to B. Now, in any transformation, we want to go from A to B. So we know where we are and we know the vision that we have for that specific area of their lives. Now, one of the biggest things I've learned, I've been on a transformation workshop, if you like, around business and business growth over the last few days with a lady called Shanda Sumpter. And she's basically done, I think in her first company, she did about 170 million. Incredibly strong, powerful woman, really knows her shit, and I really value competence. And she kept on drilling us on this idea of being in the right stage. Now, have you ever been on one of those, a course or a seminar, and you find yourself jumping ahead, you have questions about the next stage, and you find yourself using a lot of energy, and you're thinking about what's coming next, when actually, when you're focusing on your energy and focusing on your time, thinking about those steps ahead and questions about these other stages, you're not actually fully present with what you're doing here. And quite often when we're projecting into the future, and we're focusing on what's going to happen in the future or the problems that might come up in the future, that can quite often lead to overwhelm, which can also lead to that feeling of self-doubt, which can lead to procrastination and us not progressing in our transformation from stage A to stage B, ultimately our vision that we want to create for ourselves. And she kept on drilling us on this, and one of the strategies she's been teaching us over the last couple of days is around virtual events and how to use virtual events to create massive email lists of buyers. And one thing I found that I kept on doing is the first stage of it is really to come up with a title, come up with a tagline, come up with a vision for where you really want to go. And then the next step is you need to get speakers to that event to come and speak, right? So you do outreach. Now, during the outreach, I'm thinking, but when I get these speakers, what am I going to say to them? And when I say to them, what am I going to talk to them about in the interview? And how's that going to go? And how long is that going to go? And so this is a point where I haven't even got any speakers yet. I haven't even started the outreach, but I'm already projecting into the future. And this is what the mind does in so many of our areas of our lives, because it's always trying to anticipate and it's trying to keep us safe because it wants to come up with the solutions to the problems before they even exist. So we're better equipped to deal with them, so there's less risk to our human survival. So this is what the mind does. But the problem with that is it can quickly lead to a lot of noise in our mind, and then it's spiraling out of control, self-doubt, procrastination, and ultimately a lack of confidence, challenging certain beliefs, maybe even creating new limiting beliefs in our lives. And doing that for long enough, you find yourself feeling stuck and standing still in that specific area of your life. So the big lesson that I'm trying to teach you is if you want to go from A to B in any area of your life, you have to ask yourself, what stage are you operating out of right now in your thinking? Are you here in the present with the part that needs to be tackled now? Or are you projecting into the future, focusing, wasting energy on things that haven't even happened yet? See, the thing that I see, and this is a big insight for me, we plan for future events happening, don't we? We plan, we put together a plan, or some of us do, put together a plan, and we think of all the things that's going to happen and how it's going to go. And I want to ask you, when in your life, and this sometimes might have happened, very rarely I'd say, when in your life have you ever gone, I want to go from A to B, and you've put out a perfect plan, and it's gone in a completely straight line. No problems, no breakdowns, no nothing. It's just gone perfect. Absolutely perfect. Nothing wrong. Exactly how you planned it. Rarely ever. It never happens. And so we have to be able to equip ourselves with the break, like when it breaks down and doesn't go according to plan, we have to be able to pivot and evolve. But here's where I'm going with this. We plan for an outcome and we plan all the steps, but inevitably whenever we take action over here in stage number 1, the things in stage number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, they always change. Because things come up for us that we could have never anticipated. I remember I was doing one of my first ever workshops where I was doing a workshop on paid Facebook advertising for business owners. And I can't remember how many people, I think I had about 12 people in the room. It was just quite a small, intimate workshop. And I remember in the build-up, I was shitting myself. I was like, oh my God, being a perfectionist over the content, hoping that I get it right. Hey Adam, good to see you. Hoping I get it right. And I was like, oh, what if this happens and what if that happens, before I'd even done this piece over here. And so anyway, I put the workshop on and got there on day 1, and I never could have predicted that air conditioning was going to be a problem in an event. I never even thought about that. I had blind spots. So my plan went out the window and some other stuff came up. People were rocking up late. People couldn't find the venue. And so I had to pivot and adjust and make more decisions to keep this thing moving forward. And I think that's true for so many of us. We're thinking about what's going to happen in the future, but the future is just an illusion. It's just something that we are assuming is going to happen, when the reality is it rarely ever happens. So what I'm saying here is look at the stage you're operating out of. Give you a very simple example in business, just like one last one to really drive this home. So if you have a business, and let's say you're starting from day dot, or you just don't have the number of clients or customers that you really want for yourself right now, the first thing that has to be a priority for you is to generate leads. Generate leads, generate leads, generate leads, generate leads. That has to be a priority. So if you're not getting leads, it doesn't matter how good your website is. It doesn't matter how finely polished your Facebook cover is or your group or whatever. If you're not generating leads into that business, when you're focusing over here, you're going to feel anxiety. You're not going to be getting the results. You're going to start to make limiting beliefs of maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm crap. Maybe I'm not very good at this. Maybe I should give up. Because you weren't focusing on the right stage of business. You were probably learning more information about marketing and getting on more courses and trainings and seminars and watching more YouTube videos, but you weren't doing the things over here in this stage of the business that drive you forward. And the main reason for that quite often is because people are operating out of fear. Because when we're projecting so much in the future, we're operating out of a place of fear. We're in survival mode. Our brain is like, I need to protect myself. So how do we deal with that? Well, the first step is to know what the stages are to create your vision. What are the high level steps that you need to take? So if, for example, if it was in business, well, I need to create leads in my business. I then need to generate relationships with those people in my business. I then need to invite them to become a customer of mine or a client of mine. And then at the end of it, I make money and then I fulfill on that. So I need to know the high level steps. Then I need to know what stage I'm operating out of right now, or what I need to be operating out of right now, which in my case, for example, is lead generation. This is a video that will generate potential leads for my business. Because if you want to be coached by me over some of the potential mind blocks that stop you from growing and creating the results that you want in your business, then come and have a conversation with me. So know what level you're operating at. Then the second thing is you really need to become self-aware. You really need to notice your thinking. And when this normally happens is when we're being stretched. When we notice the things that we need to do in the relevant stage and we're not doing them, you have to ask yourself, why am I not doing that? Why am I not doing the work? Well, I'm not doing the work because if I'm being really honest with myself, I'm scared that if I either spend money on something, or let's say Facebook advertising, then it won't work. Or if I reached out to somebody and say, hey, do you want to work with me? Or hey, I've got this fantastic product, they might reject me and say no. And that brings back all the pain of my past of being rejected, and I'm terrified. And so I'd rather stay stuck and frustrated than actually progress in my business. Now, if that's you, then I'd say that's probably a pretty uncomfortable place to be. And you've got to ask yourself how long I'm prepared to stay here before I snap out of it and I move forward. And that's one of the things I can certainly help you with. So we have to build awareness, but we have to know, where are we going? What are the stages? What are the stages we need to operate at now? And then notice the thoughts when we don't want to do the things that we know we're meant to be doing. Because that's all I really do. I help people, I help male business owners and entrepreneurs to do the things that they know they should be doing, but they're not doing to drive their business and their business growth. That's all I help people to do. Whether that be like through the coaching techniques or accountability or, some other way, some little ninja mind hack that I can give them to help them overcome that and keep them moving forward and progressing. See, so many people spend so much time thinking, and trying to get clarity through thinking. But clarity has never come from thinking. Tell you how I get clarity. You've got all of this all over the whiteboard here. But I didn't rub something out there. I get a marker and I start writing. And I start moving things around. I start taking action and it gives me clarity. And then I start to implement the thing that I'm talking about. So to give you an example, this is what I'm talking to you about right here. This is what I'm talking to you about here. Vision, 3 to 5 steps, 3 to 5 steps underneath then. And then there's a little bit more to it where you plan your week. But this is what I'm talking to you about. So concept, like learn it. Concept that was value, turned it into an idea. How can I share this with people? And now I'm delivering it to you live on Facebook. So hopefully you are getting something from this. And that's the power of taking action, being able to progress. And if we look at COVID right now, the reason why people are struggling is because they're waiting. They're waiting for the government, they're waiting for COVID to go away instead of getting into action, moving forward in a perfectly imperfect way and starting to get that clarity and starting to pivot and evolve and adjust. But this is where I see 95% of people fail. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that my shit doesn't stink because this has been me for so long. And I'm sharing it with you because I've managed to create the breakthrough that's necessary to get me moving forward and progressing. And so I want to know from you guys, has this been helpful? Let me know in the comments. Where are you operating? Are you operating out of the wrong stage in your business? Or are you operating it from the right place in your business? Or any transformation for that matter? But I would love to know, yes or no in the comments, has this been useful to you? And if so, if you're open to sharing, I'd love to know what you've got from it. Just comment in the comments box below. I want to send some love to you guys who've tuned in. I'm sure there was like cartoons where they were like, I think it was like Roadrunner or something, like wow, and the eyes would pop out and the heart would come out as well. But we digress. Have an amazing Valentine's Day, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.